May I come in, sir?
Harsh,
May I come in?
please, आइए, come in.
Morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir. Morning. Morning. Morning.
Please sit.
Thank you, ma'am.
Harsh, tell us a little about yourself. You're in information service already.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, as mentioned in my DAF, my name is Harsh Chaudhary. I hail from Jaipur. I went on to complete my schooling from a boarding school in Chennai. Then I completed my BCom honors from Sriram College of Commerce, and I was selected in the Civil Services 2021 in the Indian Information Services. And right now I'm serving as an additional director OT in CBC, Central Bureau of Communication.
You were born in Sanganer.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh? So what is Sanganer famous for?
And Sanganer is famous for the Sanganeri print, the block print that is there on saris and bedsheet and other linen. Also, Sanganer is famous for its sweets. Like you get very tasty ghevar there.
Also, Gaver. Okay.
Yes.
Handmade paper?
Yes, ma'am. Sanganer is also popular for its handmade paper.
Is it still a thriving industry or it's?
In the wake of the the electronic media or electronic medium that has become more popular, handmade paper has lost its sheen in the recent years, ma'am.
Rajasthan has other very interesting, prints like Sanganeri print. It's a generic word. Do you know any of the others?
Yes, ma'am. I am also aware of the Bagru print that is there.
And what is the difference between Bagru and Sanganeri?
Ma'am, the difference comes in the color which is used, the color of the print that is used, the design also, and more or less both are on the same white background. So in that sense, it's also a little similar.
So Sanganeri prints are vegetable dye,
Yes, ma'am, they are natural dyes. Yes.
natural dyes. Okay. So tell me information broadcasting. In my view, the biggest challenge perhaps in terms of the various services in Government of India is to an information officer because of the fast changing news and all. So in your experience, how do you feel your service is dealing with that?
Ma'am, the arena of dissemination of information has been very dynamic in the recent past, especially with the advent of social media and the IT boom that has taken place. The ministry has taken a lot of proactive steps, such that we have DPOs in every department. We also are engaging with social media platforms. We are also slowly the OTs are being trained to use newer tools. For example, AI-based tools in doing press releases and newer steps like the fact check unit of the PIB. That is a step which we are taking to handle the changes that are taking place in the recent years.
What is the difference between communicating and propaganda? What is propaganda?
Ma'am, based on my limited understanding of the terms, I think propaganda has a vested interest and it tries to influence a person's way of thinking. But communication, I think, does not have a particular agenda. Its primary motive is to give right information so that an informed decision by the recipient can be made based on that information.
Does truth factor anywhere in here? I mean, can we say that propaganda is not quite, fully truthful? Sometimes the facts are distorted to do propaganda.
Yes, ma'am. In that sense, truth can be a little twisted, or half truths can be used when propaganda is involved. But in information, plain truth is used. What it is, it is.
So, nowadays we hear about something called social media influencer. I mean, people say their jobs are social media influencer. So, what is that? I mean, how does government actually have a conversation with somebody like that? I mean, government's business is serious business, no? And whatever you are communicating may not be the most interesting thing. It can be facts, figures, and be a little boring.
Ma'am, social media influencer is a new stream of, or as you have mentioned, a career path that has come up in the newer platforms. As newer platforms have come up, what happens? A social media influencer, they use their reach on the social media to propagate certain information. And we have seen in the recent past that it might have a malicious motive also. For example, the recent pump and dump issue that was there in the newspaper. So what the government is doing, or especially our ministry is doing, is that we try and uh, engage with more substantive or more authentic public media influencers. And recently also SEBI had come up with guidelines when it comes to finfluencers or people in the financial sector. Yes. So we are regulating it in that sense.
Thank you.
Harsh, with your kind of background, one would have thought of going into the corporate sector. What do you feel drew you to the government sector?
Sir, it was an anecdotal experience, sir, which is also my driving factor to become a civil servant. I did my schooling from Chennai, sir. I was in a boarding school, and rather I was one of the survivors in the 2015 Chennai floods. And that time, the role of a civil servant of the local IAS and IPS officers there really inspired me to join the civil services. And after that, I have had no second doubt about the same. I've never thought my career to be in corporate despite being from Sri Ram College of Commerce, as my peer group or my batchmates have taken up.
Do you think the relevance of PSUs in the recent times has gone down? Or
So-
is it being deliberately sidelined?
So, based on my limited understanding of PSUs, since as an aspirant, so what I believe is slowly the government has to privatize or disinvest the PSUs. For example, we have like the Scooters India and other PSUs which have been recurring losses for for n number of years. So I think the government should focus on their core activity and slowly divest, not completely privatize, but at least reduce their stake. In this process, we can reform the PSUs also.
Any example recently where PSU has been privatized?
Privatization, we have the case of Air India, sir. But when we talk about reducing the stake or making certain percentage of the stake public, LIC was a good example. It helped LIC be placed on the stock market, and also better regulation, better accounting, and better uh, financial statements being made to public. So in that sense, it's good.
You have very interesting hobbies, and horse riding is one of them.
Yes, sir.
When did you pick it up?
Sir, I come from a peri-urban area, so my the farmland that was of my uncle's, it was leased to a horse riding club. So when I would come back from my hostel, I would be very curious looking at the horses early in the morning, and having a habit of waking up early. And the riding club also had certain horses to spare, and they wanted a young lightweight riders who could tune their horses early in the morning, and I got the opportunity and I grabbed it.
Okay. Do you think horses are unable to see a particular color?
Sir, I'm not aware of that fact, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Harish, I'm going to ask you some uncomfortable questions,
Please, sir.
okay?
Yes.
Because you are a man from information broadcasting, and you should be used to that basically. You should be much more used to very sharp questions.
Thank you.
So the Prime Minister doesn't give any press conference, no, doesn't hold any press conference. Is it a good sign in democracy?
Sir, I think the primary objective of any democracy is that there is flow of information between the government and the public. In this sense, the government of India has been taking good steps. We are communicating, we have different ministers communicating, and important information is being reached or disseminated to the public. And I think by doing this, we are fulfilling
But
the
the
core
general
objective of
impression
it.
around the world, that there is a media gag in India.
Sir, I think,
So, what the central government should be doing around that?
sir, I am cognizant of the fact that India's ranking in the Press Freedom Index has reduced significantly. But I think there's also a Western lens when we see such indices. We have certain parameters that are used by the West, and I think it would be wrong for us to judge our media on basis of that. We have a very free media set. We have all the freedom is provided to us. We have, even if there is certain problems that the media faces, we have a very strong judiciary also to back them. In fact, freedom of press is part of the fundamental rights. So I don't think so there is any gagging happening of the media as such.
Okay, okay. So another thing which intrigues me, okay, is that the government has kept as a strategy of communicating social media and a bit of visual media platforms while completely doing away with print media. Yeah. While for its political party, the BJP, the ruling party, has kept communication plan for itself, which is much more comprehensive. So don't you think that government should also be actually focusing on a communication plan rather than a media plan? You know the difference between communication plan and a media plan.
So what I believe is, sir, that slowly the government is moving towards the visual platforms, including social media. The reason being
The
that
communication plan is much more different as compared to, because it not only uses different platforms, yeah, but it is also a very comprehensive thing, which the BJP has kept reserved for itself. It's not allowed it to permeate it to the government.
Sir, the government is also taking very proactive measures in that sense. For example, right now I am part of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, which is a very extensive reach out program of the government. We are going to the nook and corners, the last mile of the country, to make sure that benefits of majority schemes are available to every section of the society. And in this sense, we are using innovative mediums to communicate. We are making sure that every citizen or every locality or every gram panchayat in our country is covered and saturation of government schemes happen. So we do have a plan, a comprehensive plan in place.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So communication plan is not only about development schemes. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about that later when I come back to the feedback. So let's move to your degree course. Have you heard of natural resource accounting?
No, sir, I'm not aware of the national resource accounting.
Oh, natural resource.
Okay.
Not natural resources, because natural resources are getting much more important now. Sustainability is the key phrase, okay? And everybody is talking about sustainability. All the corporate sector, they are also talking, the government is also talking. So anyway, if you are not knowing, it's all right. But tell me one thing, that if, for example, if we take accounting practices, no? How do we ensure that the resources are utilized most efficiently, and how does an accounting system reflect that?
So when should I be speaking from the perspective of a corporate or from the government?
Yeah, corporate.
Corporate.
Yeah.
So
Because
when we
I don't see any difference between corporate and government now. The government is corporatized.
So when we see from the perspective of a corporate and it has access to certain natural resources and it wants to ensure that efficient utilization is happening, then in accounting we have many mechanisms to that, sir. For example,
Tell me 2 or 3
yes,
principles.
for example, there is appropriate depreciation or amortization of the assets that they have. For example, if they have access to a mining lease, there should be proper depreciation happening. We have a sufficient amount of capital assets that are engaged to use the 100% capacity of the plant to use those natural resources. We also are we are also taking proactive steps when it comes to CSR, when we are taking out economic activities. Also, sir, lastly, I believe that the human resource or the employees are working in the most efficient manner using different cost management techniques like job cards and other factors of labor productivity can be used to find out the productivity of the fixed assets used.
Okay.
Here,
So
natural assets.
okay. My last question to you. You said depreciation rates should be. So, what, in your opinion, the social depreciation rate should be in a country like India, which is developing, and there is many developmental challenges. Many social classes are very, very backward. So as a civil servant, as a district magistrate, you said, no? Where a lot of people are distressed. So what should be our social discount rate
So
in terms of accounting?
So depreciation rate as such, without any empirical evidence or study, it will be difficult for me to give. But I would assume that based on
What will be your
factors,
aspiration?
sir, I would of course try to keep it around a ballpark figure of, let's say, 20 to 25%, because it would account a lot of social, environmental, and economic factors. And considering them, for example, the socio-economic structure, the rate of using of the natural resources, I think somewhere between 20 to 25% seems a viable
No,
thing.
no. I would say that that's totally incorrect. You should be aiming towards zero.
Okay.
Harsh, you are already in a very good position, so that is to your advantage. But you come from Rajasthan.
Yes.
Suppose you are posted as a district magistrate in a small district in Rajasthan, which is full of social problems and many kinds of social evils that prevail in Rajasthan. We are all aware of that. What will you do to promote child marriages, which is beyond the purview of all government schemes? Is there something unique that you can add to the government schemes? Maybe an innovative way to implement them, or something that comes to your mind?
So if I take
Yeah.
some time to think, ponder over it. Sir, in Rajasthan, the act of child marriage is usually not just a social compulsion, but also because of economic factors, like the family having low capacity, and when they want to marry a number of people, for example, all their children in one go, so they usually go for such practices. If we can somehow manage and reduce the dowry problem in Rajasthan, for example, having right role models in the villages or the district, that can hamper the need to have child marriages. Apart from that, sir, something innovative that we can do is the happening of child marriages usually happen on certain social occasional dates, certain festivals we have on those particular days which are considered to be auspicious. We have large number of child marriages, so we can like this target those days and make sure that, for example, priests are not are advised that they should not be conducting child marriages, or for example the police can be more vigilant on those particular days. That can, I think, reduce significantly reduce the number of child marriages.
Yeah.
Educating.
Nice. What do you what do you mean, or what kind of accounting system does government follow?
Sir, government follows double entry cash based accounting system.
Double entry cash based accounting system.
Yes.
And how is the auditing done?
So auditing happens on two levels, sir. The internal audit is done by every department or ministry based on their rules specified. It can be under the CGA rules that are given by the CGA, and it can also be a certain departmental rules of that institution or ministry concerned. On the exterior, when it comes to the external audit, that is taken care by CAG and sometimes even delegated to certain CA firms.
What is performance audit?
So performance audit refers to audit which deals purely about the efficiency of running of a particular enterprise. It is not merely restricted to the financial aspect, but also the performance of the management. For example, what is it able to meet the requirements of the stakeholders, shareholders, their rate of investment return, and all those things are taken care of. It's a broader thing, sir, than financial.
Okay. Do you know about GI tags?
Yes, sir, I'm aware of the GM.
What product can be the most likely item for GI tags in Rajasthan?
Sir, in Rajasthan, GI tag can be. Sir, even the Sanganeri print saris that we're mentioning, that is a GI tag market product.
It is a GI product
Yes.
already.
Yes.
No, I'm saying what
A
else?
new.
A new product.
So the sweet giver can be made a GI. So because I'm a person with sweet tooth, and I think Jaipur has
Okay.
a same.
All right. Heartfulness meditation.
Yes.
How is it different from mindfulness meditation?
So heartfulness meditation is a form of Raj Yoga practice, sir.
What yoga?
Raj Yoga practice.
Raj yoga. Okay.
Yes, sir. In heartfulness, what happens is, sir, we assume that there is a eternal light or a spiritual light which is present within your heart, and we concentrate upon that. And it's more of a very simple process, and there is no specific emphasis upon concentration about a thing. You just have a thought in your mind. Whereas in mindfulness, you're supposed to concentrate on a particular thought. It's more of a exhausting exercise when it comes to.
So when you say mindfulness or mindful meditation,
Yes, sir.
is it from Raj Yoga or something?
I'm not aware of that fact, sir.
Okay. And there is no emphasis on looking at your breathing in your heartfulness meditation?
No, sir. It is not restricted to breathing practices. It only emphasizes upon a particular thought.
How did you fall into this heartfulness meditation?
Sir, it was suggested to my parents when I was very young, sir.
Okay. So it's through the parents.
Yes.
Beekeeping.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a few interesting things about a queen bee.
Sir, queen bee, I would say, for example, a queen bee is double the size of a normal bee, sir.
Okay.
Queen bees is not a different species or different variety in itself, just a normal worker bee which is feeded with certain hormones or while it was a pupa, while it was developing. That's why it becomes a larger bee. Also,
So it is not a natural phenomena, you mean?
it is in the sense that it happens within the beehive, sir. And additional feeding is done to it.
Done to it means somebody else does it.
Feeding by the worker bees who take care of the bee
Okay.
within the beehive.
All right. What
And
else?
apart from that, sir, queen bee's only task is to produce more bees.
More
it does not collect.
Okay. How many eggs does she lay every day?
So it lays about one egg every 20 seconds, sir. So
Correct. So it's about 2,000 eggs a day.
yes, sir.
What is a king bee?
So I've never heard of a king bee, sir.
Why? If there is a queen bee, there should be a king bee.
No, sir, there is no king bee to my knowledge in a bee.
No, there is a king bee, but it has no role other than producing
Mating.
children.
Oh, yeah, those worker bees
Yeah,
sometimes mate with the queen bees.
All right. And some unique features of a bee itself. How many eyes does it have?
That I don't know, sir.
Oh, you should know. And how many legs does it have?
So 4 hind to 6.
6 legs,
Yes.
as an insect.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Harsh, you are from commerce background.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
tell me the difference between management and administration and give me 1 or 2 examples?
Sir, management is a practice wherein consciously coordinated activities of a group of people are used to achieve a particular goal. While as administration, when we see administration happens to be activity of a government institution to achieve larger social goals of the society. That is my limited understanding, sir. I have never really studied the difference between the two.
Okay. Do you feel is India commerce friendly? What are the recent steps that government has taken for it?
So, government is taking many proactive steps to make India business friendly and commerce friendly. For example, recently we have done away with the retrospective taxation. We have made a policy decision not to have such taxes in the future. We are also promoting the manufacturing sector through schemes like PLI. We are also promoting the startup sectors through seed funds, revolving funds, and we are also aggressively taking up FTAs with different governments. And in this sense, Government of India is emphasizing upon commerce in the recent years.
Ease of doing business index.
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So, Ease of Doing Business Index was started by World Bank, now scrapped. It focuses upon the ease of formation, doing contracts, running business, and even exiting from business in a particular economy. It, on a whole, defines how easily a business can establish and work in an economy. India has done significantly well. In the last 7 years, we reduced our rank we have rather doubled our rank, like from around 140s to we have gone less than about 70 when the scheme was, the index was scrapped.
Okay, we also have domestic ease of doing business index.
Yes,
Where
sir.
Rajasthan stands?
Sir, I'm not aware of that fact, sir, where Rajasthan stands.
Okay. Coming to your hobbies, horse riding. It's a very interesting hobby you have put over here. When you developed this hobby?
So I was in class 8th, sir.
Okay.
Yes, 8th, 7th. Yeah.
As you have remarked earlier, you come from a urban background.
Peri-urban, sir. Rural. It was rather a rural background, sir.
Okay, it was rural background. Do you think it's an affordable hobby?
Sir, it is not. It is surely not an affordable hobby. So in my case, one of my uncles has leased his farmland to a riding club. That is why I got the opportunity to carry on the activity free of cost, and I developed interest, sir.
And other thing you have mentioned is endurance running. What is
Yes.
the ultimate test of endurance?
Sir, I think ultimate test of endurance is not just physical endurance, but also your mental endurance. So I think it should, in a way, it tests your discipline and commitment to a task. And if you are able to do that in every activity, I think you have passed the ultimate test. You become more determined, more persistent, and you are there despite the challenges.
Okay, Harsh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh. I think our formal part of the interview is over. First, tell us how you feel you did in the interview.
Ma'am, I think I could have done better at a few places. I faltered, and certain facts that I should have known, for example, Rajasthan's rank in ease of doing business, and with respect to number of eyes a bee has. I think, and sir's.
It has compound eyes. Yeah.
Yes. And sir, for example, with
So
sir's
biologically, we say it's compound eyes. There's millions of eyes.
question. Okay.
You used the terms in my limited understanding too many times. Huh? So, because if you're aspiring to be a civil servant, that to an Indian administrative service, I mean, it is assumed that you will have unlimited knowledge. Okay, not that it is practical, but it's not. There's no need to say it so many times. You mentioned about a couple of times, I think 3-4 times. In my limited understanding, in my understanding, you can so say. And I think otherwise you're very good. You've been there before. What was your marks like in the interview?
176 last time.
176.
And how much did you miss it by? Going to
Adverse.
or something?
Sir, I missed administrative services by 30 marks, IPS by 12 marks, and IRS by 1 mark.
Oh, sure. So you are this time your written was better than earlier, or
Yes, ma'am. I've written wonderful mails this year.
you've read. So you're quite confident. I think you're a very confident young man. You have a pleasing personality. I think you have nothing to worry about. Just be yourself, and you.
When is the interview?
So I've not yet got the dates.
Oh, so you're well ahead of a lot of preparation. So if anybody wants to add.
No, I
anything,
think you're fine. I wish you all the best. That's all. Just keep at it, be confident, and pick up some more information based on whatever mock interviews you do. And remain the way you are. You are a good candidate.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Pleasing
Means a lot.
personality.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because you are aspiring to become now, you're wanting to go into IS and IPS.
Yes.
And still, we hope that any IS and IPS officer will have much more social commitment. Okay, so that must reflect in your answers, no? So whenever such questions are asked, those questions must be answered with a lot of passion. So that passion must be reflected in your answer. Okay, so that's my only suggestion. And there's no need, no, where you became a lot defensive in defending the government. Okay. so that's all right. That's all right. But we would have been happier if you could have also added that, okay, these are the areas where we are improving and where we need to improve more. Okay? So that will give your perspective as well, that, okay, you are not just following things, you also have something innovative which you will practice when you go to the field. Okay? So these are the only two advices.
So, if you could tell me the difference between communication and that.
Communication plan is a wholesome thing, no? So it's not that the government is not doing that, actually. So what are the strengths of BJP, for example? Okay. Why BJP is winning?
Their extensive research into what people need and.
Apart from that, they have actually raised a concept of nation building. Okay? And you see the everything, no? Whatever they are doing, Article 370 or the Uniform Civil Code, everything, CA, everything, no, it is just focused on that. And that's how actually the Ministry of Culture in this government has become very prominent. It was not so in the previous governments. It has a lot of importance. One of the best officers of today are in the Ministry of Culture. And that's how. So the BJP actually is trying to communicate to the people that we are a nation, be it foreign policy, okay, be it any engagement with any country or any government, they are trying to project India as a nation. And that national thing, no, that is catapulting them towards victories in the Lok Sabha elections. So that's one of the main argument which is given in favor of BJP. That's not 100% reflected in the government. So it's still a bit of communication, but it's more of media plan. Okay? Media plan is a subset of communication. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So we have two more before lunch. Yeah. Next is a girl and she.